Hello everyone! Today you're starting your new unit on telling time and reading analog and digital clocks. So this is a digital clock here. It will show you the time in numbers. And this is an analog clock here, and it shows you the time using two hands, the hour hand and the minute hand. So I know we've talked a lot about how to read the hands on a clock. Today you're going to be working mostly with reading times on a digital clock. But you will notice that some of your times are actually in 24-hour clock time. And on Monday, you're going to be starting to learn more in your book about 24-hour clock. But I'm going to teach everything to you now so that you'll be able to know what to do when you see your 24-hour times today. But then also you'll be able to do your pages on Monday after this lesson, all about the 24-hour clock. So the 24-hour clock is also known as military time. And what we do when we read the 24-hour clock is we start at midnight, which is the beginning of a new day. And Emma's going to plug in the digital clock here. And on your digital clock, you can actually select on some of them to tell you the time in 24-hour clock or military time. So as she holds on the button, you can see that there's the indication that we're in 24-hour clock time now. So this is showing the same time. This is 12 o'clock midnight, and this is 12 o'clock midnight. So this is the beginning of a new day, and as you can see, it's all zeros. And that's perfect because it's a great number to start with, 0. Now, in your book, you're going to see an extra 0 in the front here, where this empty space is. And usually you will see that place here be a 0 in 24-hour clocks when you're looking at all your AM times. All your single-digit AM times up to 10 o'clock AM will have a 0 in the front there. Once we get to 10, you'll see that will take up all the digits on the clock. But until then, you'll see a 0 in the front. So this minute number here is going to keep changing because it's actually recording time as we're doing the lesson. So you'll see that change when a minute goes by. So I'm going to continue showing you on the analog clock here how we go through the day in 24 hours. So we're at midnight here. We know the next time is 1 a.m. and we're sleeping right now. And if we see 1 a.m. on the 24-hour clock time, it looks like this. And there would be a 0 in the front. Okay, and we would say this as 0100 military time. And that's why we're missing that 0 there, but that is understood as 0100, and we're ignoring that 1 there, we're pretending it's a 0. All right, here we go to 2 o'clock in the morning, and we can see it here, 2 o'clock in the morning. So it still looks very similar to what we know how the digital clock works. 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock, now we're probably up and getting ready for breakfast, 9 o'clock in the morning. Now I'm going to show you something as I move to 10 o'clock in the morning. So notice that both hands have been moving the whole time, and that is the case on clocks. Both hands are always moving. But notice when the long hand is on the 12, which means it's an O clock, the start of a new hour, the short hand is directly on the number, directly on the hour. But as I move towards the next, as I move around the clock, that short hand is moving towards the next hour. And it is always doing that. So it's only directly on the number at O clock. And after that, it starts to move towards the next number. All right, so again, here we are at 11 o'clock and 11 o'clock here, and you can see that that space where that 0 would have been is not there anymore because we're in double-digit AM times now. Here we go. Now we're halfway through the hours at the 6 where the minute is 30, so the shorthand is right in between the 11 and 12. And be careful when you get into minutes on this side, the 45, the 50, and the 55. That means we're very close to 60 or the next hour, and that shorthand may be very tricky to see if it's on the 11 or the 12 because it looks so close to 12 right now. We know that it's 11:50 and not 12 yet, so we know that the hour is still 11, but be careful when The longhand is on this side. Now, as we hit 12 o'clock lunchtime, 12 o'clock noon, our 24-hour clock time is at 12 as well. The hour is showing 12. Now, here's where it starts to get different, and this is where military time changes things. We know that after 12 o'clock lunchtime, the 12 hours starts again, so 1 o'clock p.m. Now, the benefit of military time is that if you say 1 o'clock to somebody, they will know right away that you mean 1 o'clock in the morning, because look what 1 o'clock in the afternoon looks like in military time or in 24-hour clock time. It becomes a 13, and that's exactly what happens in the 24-hour clock. After 12, the hours don't start again. The numbers 1 to 12 don't start again. They just continue up until we get to the 24 hours or the new day. All right, here we go to 2 o'clock in the afternoon now. And 2 o'clock looks like this, 14. And we would say this is, at 2 o'clock would be 1400 hours is how you would say it in military time. We know 100 means 2 zeros at the end, but again, that is counting up because we're passing the time in the lesson. All right, here we go. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 3 o'clock p.m. is 15 in military time or 24-hour clock time. 4 o'clock is 16. 5 o'clock is 17. 6 o'clock is 18. 7 o'clock is 19. 8 o'clock, 20. 9 o'clock, 21. 10 o'clock, 22. 11 o'clock, 23. And now watch this. We are almost at midnight now. So remember, midnight is the start of a new day. And 12 o'clock midnight, we're back to all zeros for that one. So that is how the 24-hour clock goes. I'm going to bring you up here now so that we can see exactly how those times correlate. So I've started just with the PM times. Remember that AM times are very similar. So for example, 6 o'clock AM, that would be written as 0600. And there is no AM and PM here. Okay, so I'm not putting AM there. If I use 6 as the hour, in 24-hour clock time, we know that that means 6 o'clock AM. Because if we look here, 6 o'clock PM is actually here at 8, the hour is 18. So we wouldn't get that mixed up. We wouldn't get the two 6s mixed up. If I say 6 in military time, that is automatically 6 o'clock AM. I don't have to use AMs or PMs. That's a benefit of using the 24-hour clock time. All right, so taking you through it, I'm wondering if you can see a relationship between the PM time in the 12-hour clock and the 24-hour clock. So looking at the hours here. So the 12 o'clock PM is also just 12 in the 24-hour clock time. We would say 1200 hours. Okay, now here 2 p.m. is 14, 3 p.m. is 15. I'm wondering if you can see a relationship here. So maybe Emma, can you tell us what it is? Think about how would we get from 1 to 3 or 2 to 14? Do you see what I'll give you a hint. We're adding a number every time.
2.
Are we only adding 2? What's 1 plus 2?
3.
3. But we're going from 1 to 13. So we're not just adding 2. What are we adding?
12.
12. We're adding 12. So 1 plus 12 equals 13. 2 plus 12 equals 14. 3 plus 12 equals 15. So if you take your PM times and you add 12, then you would get your 24-hour clock time. There's a little relationship there that you can use. Okay, so if you're not sure what time in the 24-hour clock, 5 o'clock PM would be, then just think about adding 12. What's 5 plus 12? Oh, 17. So that's how you would get the 17. Now you can also do it backwards. So you may see times in your book that show something like 16:35, like that. So then you'd have to think, what time is that in the 12-hour clock? Well, we know it's going to be a PM time because it's past 12. So it's something PM. The minute stays the same. And what we can do is we can just take the 16 and take off that 12. So you're working backwards in a way to get from 24-hour to 12. 16 take away 12 is 4. So this is 4:35 p.m. 16:35 would be 4:35 p.m. Now you're also going to have to do some work with using the words to and past when you're telling time today on your digital clock. Now, if you are using the word to, it means that you're looking ahead to the next hour. If you're seeing the word past, it wants you to tell me how much past the hour it is. So for example, I'm going to get 4:35 on the clock here. So 4:35. All right, here we go. So if I want to I'll start by using the word past. So at first I'll tell you how much past 4 o'clock we are. So I would just use the minute to help me here. So this would be written as 35, and I can just use MINS, okay? And you can do that too in your book for minutes. 35 minutes past 4. And that's easy to tell because we know 4 o'clock started at 4:00, and now it's gone to the 35. So we know we've gone 35 minutes past 4 o'clock. Now, using the word to is a little different. It's asking you to look forward and tell us how far we are from the next hour. So how much till we get to the next hour? So we're pretty close to 5. So if I was going to move that to the next hour, I would be going 1, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So I'm actually 25 minutes to, and then the next hour, looking towards the next hours, it's 25 minutes to 5. I can also get 25 minutes because I'm not going to have the clock necessarily to count those minutes. I can also get that 25 by taking 60. I know it's 60 minutes to get around the whole clock. Take away how far I've gone, which is 35, to do a little regrouping here. And then I would get 25 minutes to the next hour. So this one is pretty straightforward, but looking ahead to the next hour, a couple of things to keep in mind. Do your subtraction to find out how many minutes you are to your next hour, and make sure that the hour you choose is the next hour, not the hour that you're on right now. So have fun. I know it's been a lot of information here. Let me know if you have any issues, but you should be able to start today's pages and get on with Monday's pages after this lesson. And I hope you have fun working with 24-hour clock time.